Happy rails to you. Welcome back, my friends. Happy rails to you. It's good to see you again. Thanks for watching the channels and the videos. At times they go real fast and sometimes they're slow. Happy rails to you. Thanks for watching. Hello, everybody. It's G-Man, My World 67. I brought back today for a small project the Chicago and Northwestern SW3. And I did a video on this, maybe a couple of videos on it a few months back. And at the time, I thought about and talked about putting a light in it so that this front compartment would light up, so that we could have a light in this front headlight, which K-Line did not do. And so I am going to now attempt to put a light in the front of it. And I thought you might just want to see what we're going to do it. Now, I have not totally planned this, so bear with me as we go through it. I have a couple of lights ready, different styles. Both of them are LED. And we're going to see where and what we have to do to fit this light and make this light work. All right. So if you think you're going to enjoy this video, and if you want to see this happen, stay tuned to this channel. All right, here we go. Now, I've already taken a couple of screws out, and I've got one screw left here. This should come apart. Shell should come off of it. You've got to remove the handrail out of the cap, and boom, there it is. Okay, get you a better view of what's going on. All right, so in the previous videos that I did, this originally had two motors, and one side frame was busted, and I could not find the side frame complete for that motor to redo that at that time. So what I did was I took a dummy truck off of a Lino engine, which is basically the same truck, and fitted it on the front of this. And if you'd like to see that video, you can go back and catch it. I don't remember what month it was. But we refitted it with this truck. Now we're going to put in a light, which is somewhat a little more delicate. And depends upon whether also I want to hook it so that when it's running one way, that light will come on and go off when I'm going the other direction. And that takes a little more time. I have to actually figure it out on the board. I think what I'm going to do is just have a fixed light. And we'll ground it to the motor here somewhere. Might be better to use this one, as it does have the longer wires. And we'll need something. I think we'll fit it to the shell, maybe. Which will allow us to pull it out whenever we put on the shell. So let's go with that idea. I'm going to cut this piece of plastic tubing, which is hollow, which is actually like a straw. I'll break out my larger scissors. Knife blade. Just didn't want to cut it. Oh, my screwdrivers that I wanted to use are all too large. I will work that screwdriver up through there. Like that. Get it nice and round again. That's a fairly even cut. Even it out a little bit with a pair of scissors. We're going to figure out where we want to place this. On the shell so that it does not interfere with anything. Right here would be good. I'm going to set that aside. Come back and let's see. Need a little power from somewhere. Give me just a second while I get us some power. Alrighty. Got us a little electricity here. Got some power. Okay. Now, take this cable, little twist tie loose. And trace this wire which should go into this connection. Which we should be able to put lead wire onto it. This wire is very, very thin, so I have to be very careful. We're stripping the insulation on it. Let's go ahead and do this one while we're at it. Twist the ends a little bit. And I'm going ahead and get the solder and the soldering iron out. Which I should have had out already. And warming up. That and plug it over here. Plug that up right there. Okay, okay. Now we're going to take we're going to solder to this wire right here. And then I think we're going to come on the frame right here on top of these weights for our ground. Rather than to tie into a ground. Yeah, there may be one right there we can go with. Let's see. Mm-hmm. I dropped our wire. That'll work. Whether you can see it or not. There. there. Did I blow it? Here we go. Alrighty. So we are going to tie it into the wiring. Fortunate enough, I didn't have to look all over. It was already there. The soldering iron should be warm enough now. Let's see. And I'm going to have to bring it a little closer to us. To work on. It's the only thing I hate about this particular soldering iron is it is short. Change this around a little bit. Guys, I can't get enough. Okay. Well, in this case, I'm tell you what I'm going to do. First,
side door.
I'm going to attach my wire. I'm trying not to separate all these wires because they've got him all folded up nicely and gathered together in a way that's consistent and makes it easier to track your wires. So I'm not trying to disturb that too much. Okay, then we'll go over here and put this one on. Tent the end of my soldering tip again. And I guess I'll wrap this one too. Might make it just a little easier. If I can. This wire is so small. we go. This one, they've got it really wrapped tight. Hard to there we go. Turn this just a little bit. There. Give these wires a second to cool down. Just a little bit. And there we go. Now we have lights in both directions. Put these caps back on. These are, by the way, I'm considering to be factory tape caps. I have seen this done before on some newer engines. And as I said, I had to take out a motor, so which those wires are out of the way and loose where they can be gotten to, but set apart from everything else. Okay, where did you go? had just placed on up here just fell off. And I don't see it. So we will, just for precaution, take our black tape and fit it on there. There it is. Throw it away now. And we're going to take our twisty, put it back through our wiring like it was, and twist them all together. Have it be secure. Now, you say, how are you going to do this? Well, that brings us back to our little tube. We're going to place the tube down inside the shell right here. I could use hot glue, but for all intents and purposes, this time, we're going to use our trusty multi-purpose cement. I am out of my model glue, which I normally use, and so I have to rely on my plan B, which is this multi-purpose cement. Now we're going to let that sit just for a moment. The thing about it is I got it on my fingers and I hate that. We're going to let it sit just for a moment and then we're going to put them together. Okay, a little bit of time's gone by, so we're going to take this and we're going to put them together now. I set that down on the inside of the shell. Get my little trusty extra light out here. I set that down on the inside of the shell. Can you see it there? Right there. Got him glued in place. Yeah, I probably should have made a little longer piece, so it'll be a little bit closer to the light, but it's okay. Tried to kind of put it in the center. Yeah. All of a sudden it didn't want to cooperate. And since it didn't want to cooperate, I think we will use a little bit longer piece. let's go that route. Can't cut it with those. But maybe I can break it. Yeah. Okay, great. Broke around. Round this end up some. Put a little more glue on this end. Place it down in the shell, like we did a few minutes ago. Okay, and before I touch it again or do anything with it, you see, there it is right there. The longer piece gets it a little closer to the light. Now, these light emitting diodes don't get very hot usually. And so there is less than an eighth of an inch between the actual bulb and the surface. More like a 1/16. Or less. Once this dries, it'll be just fine. But normally, what I do, another thing is I do where there are light bulbs. And I think there might be evidence of that heat causing a problem with the shell. I put in a piece of aluminum foil. And I have gobs and gobs of it. I try to keep some handy here at my desk / workbench. But I use it often enough and forget that I used it and don't replace it, which looks like may be the case. This is live, guys. As I said, I didn't pre-rehearse this. I just knew what I needed to do and what I wanted to do and made up my mind that I was going to do it. So I just took it on right before you. So I didn't have, as I would normally, sometimes depending on how big the project, things already done and in place. So hold on just a minute while I get a piece of foil. All right, I'm back. Got a fairly good size foil. Fortunately, today is chicken soup day at our house, and my wife is making some of her good, actually great, homemade chicken noodle soup. I know it's not cold outside, guys, but chicken noodle soup is good anytime. Especially when it's good chicken noodle soup, right? And I'm not kidding you guys, my wife makes great chicken noodle soup. All right, so I got that doubled over. And I folded it down to fit in that space underneath the tubing. And again, we're going to put a little glue on it. To hold it in place. Now let me say this, what I like about this glue is it does not mar the surfaces. And in the downside area of a shell like this, even if it did, unless it made deep welts or holes or pits that would cause you a problem, it wouldn't really be a problem. Even, I think, to a perfectionist. And I know there's a lot of us perfectionists out there. I used to be more of that mind. And I still like my trains to look good as they possibly can. But I'm actually more concerned with the functionality. This tube, as it's drying, is trying to reset its positioning on its own. So you see me going back in and readjusting it and pushing it down a little harder, a little tighter. It's because that it is trying to reposition itself as it dries, shifts around a little bit. And what I can do, but I don't want to do, is use the hot glue in here. And I may have to, and which you know, if you watch my videos, I do use hot glue periodically in certain areas for certain things. But if I don't have to use hot glue, I don't want to use hot glue. Okay, so now let me show you what we've done. We've got the foil in place underneath the tubing. Which will give us more reflective power. See it right there. And we're still waiting on this to kind of dry a little more. As I said, as it keeps wanting to shift. And what we're going to do is, we're going to take this tube and we're going to slide this wire up in it. Kind of hard to get a good place to put light on it. Extra light. Does that help? I hope. Usually it takes about 15 minutes for that to really set. Okay, so now we're going to slide this up in through the tube very carefully. Like so. Carefully. Get these rods back in. If we can. That one in. These are kind of tricky because they're not straight in. There they go. I'm all thumbs today, guys. So bear with me. After we get one started, we'll be okay. Then I'm going to go down and get this one started. As you guys know and realize, if you watch my videos, some things I have to take down to my lap. It's a little lower, easier for me to do. Makes it a little handier for me. There we go. My right hand, by the way, still does not work right. And possibly never will. So that is what it is. I'm trying to get this rascal. There he is. Okay. Put one here. Just snug them up a little bit. And we were missing one, so I'm going to have to take one out of my screw stash over here. Which is probably too long. And maybe not. Perfect. That's great. Now let's see what we've got. This is the light that we just put in. We're going to believe that we're done with the screwdriver, so we're going to put it up. Put up everything that we don't need. Get it out of our way. This tin foil will be folded up and put up. Get our ground. We'll get our ground set right here. That's where we had it before. Let's put it right there. One step. And here we go. Lights up. And it's a nice bright light for the side. Let's see how it looks on the layout. All right, guys, here we go. Remember, God is love. And Jesus Christ loves us also. So much that he gave his life for us, that we might have life more abundantly. That's all for now. This has been a Catzilla production. See you real soon. Bye-bye.